Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to another brand new episode of the East Lake Animal Education Centre. This time we are building the Desert Hall. This is going to house all of our exhibit species from the desert biomes around the world. It's also going to house one habitat species, which is a brand new species for the East Lake Animal Education Centre. Not something we've housed before. It's also not something that Dunswell Zoo houses either, so looking forward to that one. So here I'm just building the first set of doors. There are 3 sets of doors in total. So we've got this set here, which I actually don't end up putting a door on if I remember correctly. I just frame it and then leave it open. But the next 2 sets are definitely all doored up. So just struggling here to find a glass piece that would fit that gap. In the end, I have to use 2 pieces and sort of put the join in the middle, which doesn't look too bad, to be fair. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, hope you've all been well. It's been about a week since the last episode. What else can I tell you? I'm relatively ready to build the tropical hall. There are still some sort of design things that I want to work out here and there. We do of course have several more habitat species to go in the tropical hall. Again, they're sort of in keeping with the reptiles, the lizards, the amphibians, the insects, that sort of thing. And we don't have habitat insects for a very good reason. But yeah. So here is the first exhibit for the Desert Hall, and it's the Sacred Scarab Beetle. There were 3 places I could have put this. There was here, which was just going to be empty space otherwise. There was actually within the main Desert Hall itself. Or I could have put it in the shelter for the habitat species. I decided to put it here because it didn't really fit with the other animals in the Desert Hall. The other animals in the Desert Hall are all snakes, then lizards, and there's a scorpion. So I put the scarab beetles here. You know, it's small. We can have a lot of them, and it does actually work out in our benefit because people just flock to this exhibit. So I need to get a donation bin in that area actually. It's not something I've done yet, but it is something I will definitely do between now and the next episode. Just making sure the rock isn't poking through the wall. And then again, I love this sort of texture what's on these Australia planks. This sort of reclaimed, really rough, not completely straight sort of wood. Yeah, I really like it. It's definitely the vibe that I'm going for. So just make sure the textures are all a bit different so it doesn't look a bit samey. Rotate that one round. I can find the biting point. There we go. And then just knock it back a little bit because it sticks out. Yep. Make sure there's no Z fighting. Looks grand. And now I've built a planter and I've gone ahead and put this just generic thing behind it. That's the art shapes. I changed the colour, we're not going to keep it this obnoxious purple colour. We do actually change it to a sort of a honey colour. It's like a subdued orange, rich but dark yellow sort of colour, just to sort of signify the desert. just messing about, trying to find the colour there. And that's what I'm happy with. It's still light enough that it doesn't darken the area, but it's also sort of deserty enough. So just putting the rest of the planter in here. I decided to make it out of this desert rock. Got a nice texture. Could have used fur rock, but I wanted to use the real rock just for the texture really, and just to really hone in on that feeling that you're stepping into a desert environment. And now we're onto the actual desert hall itself. So here we're setting up the giant desert hairy scorpion. We've got 2 exhibits, and the reason for that is, as I mentioned in the last episode, we are sort of building with money in this series. We don't have an unlimited budget like Dunzols do, and exhibit animals breed really well, and you can sell them for cash, and it's just a nice steady sort of flow of cash what's going to come through from selling these animals. Guests also love them as well, which is a bonus. But yeah, just deciding on the layout of things, sort of what enrichment I want in there. And when I'm happy with that, I go ahead and change the windows, and of course the temperature and the humidity, because we want our animals to be nice and comfortable. So some of them I do box them in, so it's got 3 walls and a glass window. Others I leave them open to give the sort of illusion that it's one continuous exhibit. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't work because of the glass and the reflections and the lighting system in Planet Zoo and stuff like that. So I decided for this one I wanted a roof in the exhibit. I didn't want it to seem as tall as it was, so I go for this cladding, and then initially I go for the mesh, but it really doesn't look very good, so I just double up on the cladding from the conservation pack. If you haven't got the conservation pack yet on PC, I highly recommend you do so. It's got some amazing building pieces in it, and the animals are just absolutely fantastic. I don't know about console players, I don't know if you have that one yet or not, probably not. When you do get it, I'm very excited. But yeah, I just decided to double up on that and then rotate it so that the textures aren't quite the same, just because the guests can see the roof. I don't want it to look too sort of samey, so we just go ahead and rotate that. Slide it up into place. I'm quite happy with that. And then just putting some lights in. Obviously the lights at the top is being blocked out by the custom roof. So for scorpions, I've only put the 1 light in, just because obviously the habitat would be the exhibit rather would be heated. So I've just put the 1 light in, and then we go in and we change the colour. We turn it on, and then we change the colour for a nice sort of orangey desert glow. Not that you can really tell. And then here, some sort of custom awning. So I wanted it to look like it was built into a small cliff. So that's exactly what I've gone ahead and done. So we've got some, as flat as we can get, red desert rock pieces, and then just put that into place and rotate it, which will allow us to hide the rest of the roof, the rest of the exhibit box rather, that's exposed, that's above the roof. So this one is the rattlesnake, I believe, Western Diamondback rattlesnake, and this is one of the ones that I'm keeping open, so it looks like it's one continuous habitat, to the best of my ability anyway. I mean, exhibit boxes are difficult to work with at the best of times, let alone with someone that doesn't really use them all too often. Just adjusting the temperature and the humidity. And then the old layout enrichment things. The things the snakes can interact with. So for this, I'm focusing more on the view. Like, what does it look like? And I like that one. And then when it comes to placing the rocks in, I don't like how it's stacked against the glass. But that's sort of alright. And then on the other one, I did move it up so that the burrows that the snakes can go in are sort of eye level with the guests. And you've got some amazing viewing opportunities here. And I just used the conservation pieces for this. It looks like a really modern sandy sort of construction material. And that's the sort of vibe I was going for, that each of the exhibits are sort of themed differently depending on the region that they come from. I'm putting a frame in here for the glass, just to make it look a little more modern, a little more like a new build, because that's what it is. And then continue to copy those frames over and pop them in. And then the same up at the top. And then here, just filling this space in with some rock work and a tree and a couple of plants as well, if I remember correctly. There's definitely the rock work and the tree. I think there's a few plants as well. There's the tree. And there will probably be some plants going in. Yeah, no. So the idea with the desert hall is like a 2-for-1. So yes, it houses our desert exhibit animals, but it's also a bit like a desert botanical garden to show that, you know, the desert isn't always this place that's completely devoid of life. There are plants that grow in the desert. So really honing in on the education aspect of it. And now here we are building our indoor, I mean it's all indoor technically, but we're building our indoor viewing and shelter for the habitat species that's going to live in the desert hall. And am I going to tell you what it is? Am I going to be nice? Is it going to be in the thumbnail? Knowing me, I've probably put it in the thumbnail, so I'll tell you what it is. It's the Nile monitor. So the Nile monitor doesn't live in desert conditions. It lives in grassland conditions in Africa. But out of all the sort of desert animals that you would put in sort of Reptarium, the Nile monitor is probably one of only 2 contenders. I would either say the Nile monitor or the saltwater croc for deserty animals, particularly for a Reptarium. So we ended up going with the Nile monitor, but we did make their habitat a little bit more lush, and the sort of sand texture we've got going on in the habitat, it does look, sorry, the mud texture we've got going on in the Nile monitor habitat, it looks like sand anyway, even though it's actually soil. So that sort of played really well. I'm really glad I did it actually. This pool goes through several iterations. It's an indoor pool. It is bigger than what they would need it for, and it's bigger than a zoo would probably provide for these animals, in all honesty. But we're going for Planet Zoo standards, and I had the space anyway. So we've got 3 females at the moment, and I think maybe in the future, if the opportunity arises, we might get a male, and we might breed with the 3 females, and yeah, the young can live in here as well, and that'll make better use of the space. So now putting the indoor pool in, and I like how it looks. So this is a trick using the free build mod. So what you can do is put your fences in as close as you really want them, to be honest, and once you're happy with the water placement, you can lower the fences to just below the water level, so it looks like it's actually contained by the bricks rather than the water, rather than the glass fence. And then I'm also doing an outdoor water area as well. This one's much shallower than the indoor one. The Nile monitors can't deep dive anyway, not in the game. So the one outside, as long as it's sort of deep enough for them to swim and not walk, I was alright with that. And that's exactly what we end up with. We end up with something where they can swim, but it's literally sort of just a bit deeper than their body, so they could walk if they wanted to. But yeah, just putting a ramp in here, because there's a ramp that connects the outdoor pool to the indoor pool, just because it's a slightly different level of water. But remarkably, the Nile monitors can actually use this, which I'm really impressed with. So, because I was expecting it to be all, ooh, that they can't use it because it's such a small space, but no, they can use it. So here I'm just using some of Zoov's realistic mud walls just to sort of frame the area. I'm not against using blueprints, you know, they're there for a reason. Why reinvent the wheel? So I do like how these look. They're sort of not overly desert themed, but still themed enough that it really sort of sells it. And then yeah, just putting some planting in here. And obviously the Nile monitors don't live in desert conditions in Africa, so just making this a bit more lush, a bit less desert-like, just to sort of make the animals comfortable and tie in with the information, essentially. I did think about underwater plants and then very quickly abandoned that idea, just because you would want this to be as maintainable as possible, as clean as possible. So yeah, just a couple of different bushes and rocks end up going in, the enrichment stuff obviously. And now here is something which I'm not 100% sold on, to be honest. So we use the Asian water monitor head that came with the tropical pack, and we're going to have these spitting water out essentially. So I sort of get it into position. And then obviously copy it, and then we put the sprayers in. But I'll show you that in the tour which is coming up. So enjoy the tour of the finished desert hall. So we've now finished the desert hall, so I'm going to give you a little tour. So rather than doing the sort of cinematic fly through on the cinematic route editor, because it's such a tight space in there, and because I'm not very good with the cinematic route editor, I'm going to do a walking tour instead. So starting out here, so we've got our reptiles, amphibians, insects and arachnids. It could do with a better name, in all honesty. If you've got any suggestions for that, let me know. I had sort of called it the Reptarium, but even that doesn't feel 100% correct because there are just more than reptiles in here. The floor, slightly annoying. It's not too bad with the kids, but with the adults, yeah, it's a different story. Because it's very busy in the desert hall. So we're just gonna mingle through people here. And we've got our first exhibit animal, which is the sacred scarab beetle. And they're absolutely tiny. So they're three. Oh, wonderful. Yep, just standing in my way. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any more for any more? Yeah, there's a couple along the back here. And there's just like a little window what the keepers will be able to unlock, and then they can access the exhibit that way. But we'll move on, because that's quite popular. And we've just got some sort of generic decoration. It's African themed, but just it's anything, isn't it? And it's nice, open roof here, letting loads of light in. And then we go through this little area. Not done anything with this area yet. I probably will do in the future, but for now it serves its purpose. And then bang, you're in the desert hall, which will be really, really hot and really dry. You come down this large ramp, and you now enter this sort of open area, which is completely under a glass roof to capture as much light as possible and as much heat as possible. But it'd be particularly ineffective to heat in the winter. So we have 2 exhibits each time, purely for money. You know, the exhibit animals breed readily, and you can sell them for cash. So go for it. So we've got scorpions in these 2. In fact, we can see one there. Giant desert hairy scorpion. Any more for any more? Doesn't look like it. So there's that one on the branch there. Yep, and then in this side, can't really see any. But they are in there. Right, we'll move on. And then we've got our sort of snake alley. So we've got our puff adders in this one. Yep. Oh. So we have puff adder right here. No sign of the other one, so let's head on to this one, and there's one right there at the back. It's annoying that the glass sort of shows up. I've tried to make it as sort of seamless as possible. But yeah, there's nothing we can really do about that. Oh, and there's another one at the back, even though I wouldn't advise standing. And there's the other one in that side. You're not meant to stand on the rocks there. This side, eastern blue-tongued lizard. We can see there's one there, and there's one there. And then at this side, there's one there on that rock. And the other one. Any sign of the other one? I'm not seeing it. And then we just got this like planted garden. I've raised it up a bit so that you can't see the wall as much. Oops, walking into people. This is a staff only area down here. And then we've got we've got our eastern brown snakes. Which are notoriously difficult to spot. So no sign of them in this one. What about this one? Yep. There's one here. And can't see the other one. But they're in there. And then at this side we have our common death adder. Again, don't advise standing on the rocks to get a better view. We've got one back here. And it's anyone's guess where the other one is. And then this one. Again, Can't really see them. Is that one at the back? No. But they are in here. Do promise. And then at this side we've got... Is this the diamondback rattlesnake? I think it is, yeah. So there's one there, tucked up in that rock. And there's one there on that rock, which you can't see from here. And then in this one, we should be able to see him in this one, yeah. So we've got one here, sort of wrapped around the tree. And then the other one, probably looking right at it and I can't see it. It's down here, in the burrow. And then just backtracking a bit, the other way you can walk in is if you come to the right instead of going straight on, and then on your right again you've got the Gila monsters. These are usually pretty showy, so spotting these shouldn't be too hard, he says, and you can see precisely none of them. Ah, there we go. So there's one on the branch there. I don't know where the other one is. And then this one. There's one down here. And where's the other one? It's always slightly alarming when you know there's meant to be an animal like in an enclosure and it doesn't show up. Wait, where's it gone? There's one there's the other one. So one there, and then you've got that one on the branch there, and the other one's just there, just poking out from behind the tree. So those are your Gila monsters. And then again, just a little raised planted garden on the right hand side. You need to do something with this wall. And we've got staff access in there, staff rooms and things. In here, you've got your desert horned viper. Brilliant, brilliant snakes. So you've got one here. You've got one here. You've got one up there. And number 4 is currently missing. And then in this one, again, there should be 4. I've seen one already, which is there. None in the burrows that are showing. Ah, there's one. So yeah, there's 4 desert vipers in each. And then the big ticket animal is the Nile monitor. So the Nile monitor actually lives in non-desert conditions. I just thought it was the most appropriate to add to a desert section. The Asian water monitor is definitely more tropical, as is the gharial and the Komodo dragon. What else is there? Alligators definitely not, and saltwater crocodiles possibly, but you know, I wasn't dead set on saltwater crocs, whereas I definitely wanted a lizard rather than a crocodilian. But you can see we've got one here, a Nile monitor. We've got 3 females. They are a non-breeding group for now. We may breed them in the future, but for now they're a non-breeding group. And you've got plenty of different viewing opportunities. So here, if people move out of my way, you can see them. Don't do that, you stupid buffoon. You can see them in the water here. Looking absolutely beautiful. They don't deep dive. so they don't need a depth of water. So I've definitely just given them a shallow pool out here. But from this view, you can sort of get, you know, if they're in the water, you get that view. If they're on land, you can see that view. And then there's obviously this ramp, and then there's a door there. You enter the temple. And you've got these two monitor heads spitting water out. And you've got a monitor here. And I don't know where the third one is. Ah, it's gone outside. There's two outside and one inside. So it'll do that weird thing. I just didn't want to put a full ramp along here because I like the fact there's actually ledges. You can see there's a ledge here and the ledge at the other side. So the Nile monitors will be able to stand on these and then swim in the middle bit, and then they can also access outside. But yeah, there's 3 in here. It does need a little bit more sort of detail and TLC and a bit of zhuzhing up. But I like how it looks. It's sort of budget friendly-ish. It is themed. It's got that sort of deserty temple theme, even though Nile monitors are found in the non-desert areas of Africa. But yeah, I like how this habitat's turned out. It is bigger than what they would have in reality. If we're completely honest, it is a lot bigger than what they'd have in reality. You know, I went to Flamingo Land not too long ago, and they have a common water monitor, and you know, it's half the size of just this inside bit is for the monitor. It's not massive, but we've got 3. We've given them more than enough room. If we just quickly get the information panel up here, yeah, they've got like just under double the amount of land space and just over double the amount, oh no, significantly over double the amount of water space they need. But they're very happy here. So we've got 3 females. Wow, look at that. All 3 of them out at the same time. Just plopping down into the water. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, I love that. I love it so much. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow. That can only be a good thing. You can find me on Instagram at JW_YT. You can also find my real life animal photography at JW_wildlife photography. And I'll see you all in the next episode. If you're just here for Eastlake, the next episode will be a while because I'm going to go back to Dunswell Zoo for a bit. I'm going to do some big builds in Dunswell Zoo without a budget, so I can be like really ostentatious and thoroughly themed and things like that. But yeah, we are going to continue with both series as and when I can. But it's time we return to Dunswell Zoo because I haven't been back in there for nearly 2 months now. So it's time to go back. So I think we'll head over to the Nile monitors actually for our final shot. So thank you very much for watching, my friends. I hope you're all keeping well. Hit that like button if you have indeed liked this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall leave you with the Nile monitors. Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and bye-bye for now.